More is more.
Good morning, everybody. Belated Thanksgiving. Hope everyone enjoyed their Thanksgiving. Alrighty, so for this morning, we are going to begin in our teal hymnals. Our prelude is going to be number 1002, Comfort Me.
sure which on the screen, but we're going to do...
Is the lyrics on the screen?
Yeah. We'll be doing...
It's 10:02 if they're not up there.
Comfort me, sing with me, speak for me, and then comfort me to close it off. All right. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul.
Sing with me.
Sing with me, sing with me, sing with me, oh my soul. Sing with me, sing with me, sing with me, oh my soul.
Speak for me.
Speak for me, speak for me, speak for me, oh my soul. Speak for me, speak for me, speak for me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul. Comfort me, comfort me, comfort me, oh my soul.
Good morning. Happy Sunday after Thanksgiving. Does anybody have any turkey left? We did the whole job, huh? Okay. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of the Brazos Valley. I'm Carolyn Clark, and today it's my privilege to serve as your worship assistant. We are a welcoming congregation, which means we celebrate and welcome all people across diversities of race, gender, sexual identities, age, ability, immigration status, and belief. We are also a congregation working for reproductive justice. So, whoever you are, wherever you have come from, and wherever you are on life's journey, you are welcome here.
Alrighty. Today's call to worship comes from the philosopher and humanist advocate, Corliss Lamont. He was the head of the ACLU for 30 years. Got caught up in the Red Scare. He wrote the book, The Philosophy of Humanism, and he states, "In the humanist ethic, the chief end of thought and action is to further this earthly human interests on behalf of the greater glory of all people. The watchword of humanism is happiness for all of humanity in this existence, as contrasted with salvation for the individual soul in some future existence and the glorification of any one specific supernatural supreme being. It heartily welcomes all of life's enhancing and healthy pleasures, from the vigorous enjoyments of youth to the contemplative delights of a mellowed age, from the simple gratifications of food and drink, sunshine and sports, to the more complex appreciations of arts and literature, friendship, and beloved communion."
Okay, Allison, our wonderful Director of Religious Education, is lighting the chalice. Allison, do you need any help? Please say our chalice lighting words together. We light the chalice of our Unitarian Universalist faith as a beacon of hope for all who seek justice, dignity, and compassion, and in celebration of the life of truth and meaning we share together. And our affirmation statement. Now, love is the spirit of this church, and service is its gift. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
All righty. Now, of course, Reverend Kaya's favorite part of the service, the Greet the Holy. As Unitarian Universalists, we believe that there is a spark of the divine in every single person and being, including all of us in this room together. So please take a moment to greet your neighbors around you and to say hello. If you're feeling like you don't want to say hello, as Kaya says, just cross your arms and look like you don't want to be here. No, I'm kidding. All righty, I'll ring the chime whenever we're done. Go ahead.
Up to the mic a little bit.
Ah, there it goes. Third time's charm.
Howdy. And that's not because I'm in mourning over the game. Today, in Big Church, as we sometimes call it, we are talking about humanism. And one of my favorite things about humanism is that it emphasizes the curious. It loves people who ask questions, and I love that about its whole ideology, philosophy, outlook on life, whatever. So today, I know, I'm like, all of the things. Today, we have a wonderful story, and it's called The Girl with Big, Big Questions by Brittany Wynn Lee. There once was a girl with twinkling eyes and a very curious mind. This girl was always asking questions whose answers weren't easy to find. The world is so very interesting. She wanted to learn all she could, from what makes a plane stay in the sky to what makes each person good. Her days were filled with adventures galore since her mind was so full of wonder. How long can a turtle stay in its shell? Why does lightning come before thunder? Why can't people live on the moon? What happens to stars when they fall? When will you let me stay up all night? Why even have bedtime at all? What does the dog do while I'm at school? Hey, how was the whole world made? And why do we have big hearts that can feel hurt and upset and afraid? Could I fly if I got a good running start? The nearest volcano is where? Are monsters real? What's Spanish for blue? Is it okay to cut my own hair? No. Yes, thank you, Elena. Elena said no. From the moment she opened her eyes for the day to the time she was tucked into bed, she'd ask and ask and ask and ask every question that popped into her head. At first, her neighbors, teachers, and friends tried to answer her wonder-filled mind. But after a while, their encouraging smiles were replaced by the rolling of eyes. Can we all do our best eye roll? Okay, 1, 2, 3. She noticed her questions were making them tense, and one day her class hit their limit. After she asked a dozen things about clouds, the class hollered, "Please stop, just quit it." Embarrassed, the girl tried to quiet her thoughts and not raise a voice so curious, so that no one would be too uncomfortable or, even worse, furious. But one day she found the nest of a bird, built low and exposed near the ground. Why would a nest not be in a tree? She wondered and then looked around. She was all by herself with no one to ask, so she ran to the library shelves. She read about cities and the lack of safe places for birds to build nests for themselves. Like hunting for treasure, she searched and learned more answers that made her frown. With an urgent report, she announced to her class, "There are not enough trees in our town." The class, now moved by this information, as always happens, asked questions about how to embark on a project to help both the birds and their neighbors by planting more trees in their parks. The girl knew then that big questions are good, and answers aren't just things to know. They are things to discover alongside each other. Asking questions is how we all grow. The end. And might I just add, we should all be a little bit nicer than her classmates and entertain all of our wonderful questions we have all of the time. But usually at this time, and we will go to RE, but I just want to make an announcement really quick. For religious education, we are all together on this really unique fifth Sunday because we will be making decorations for the church for the holiday season. So if you are a younger UU who would like to come to RE, we will meet in the Sunshine Room Rug. The Sunshine Room Rug. Thumbs up, all of you coming? Okay, awesome. And would you all please sing us out to religious education with This Little Light of Mine?
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Alrighty. So now we will be singing a new hymn that, according to Kaya and Allison, has not been sung since Kaya took over. It is one that there's a Catholic version of, so I knew the tune and I wanted to do it. So we're actually going to learn it all together. Me and Andrew are going to lead. If everyone would like to join us, the words should be on the screen. It is number 67. Haha. We sing now together.
And for the first time through, I'm going to go a little bit slower so we can all kind of get the melody and everything like that. And, you know, like Kat said, it's a new song, so bear with us. All right. We sing now together our song of thanksgiving, rejoicing in goods which the ages have wrought, for life that enfolds us and helps and heals and holds us and leads beyond the goals which our fair bears once sought. We sing of the freedoms which martyrs and heroes have won by their labor, their sorrow, their pain, the oppressed and befriending, our humbler hopes defending. Their death becomes a triumph, they die not in vain. We sing of the prophets, the teachers, the dreamers, designers, creators, and workers and seers, our own lives extending, our gratitude commanding. Their deeds have made immortal their days and their years. We sing of community now in the making, in every far continent, region, and land, with those of all races, all times and names and places. We pledge ourselves in covenant firmly to stand. That was
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you, everyone.
All righty. I'm going to invite Ivy up for our candle lighting music today. She will be playing a piano piece for us while we take our time to light candles for our joys and concerns. If you have not done this before, just follow along everyone else, and Ivy will play for us. was beautiful. Alrighty. So today, the way I've themed this is humanism as universalism. So bear with me. I will be jumping around a little bit. So today I wanted to talk about humanism, and specifically its relationship to universalism, pluralism, and the larger Unitarian Universalist faith. Now, I know many of those in our congregation would describe themselves as humanists. I want to start then with a declaration of our terms. So when I say humanism, I say that it is a philosophy that emphasizes and is rooted in the individual and social potential of the human being and the human being's individual agency and collective agency. Humanism considers this potential of humanity and her agency as the starting point for any serious moral or philosophical inquiry. Throughout time, of course, the meaning of the term has changed because of various successive intellectual movements. During the height of the Italian Renaissance, for example, inspired by their rediscovery of Greek and Roman texts and thought, a movement known now as Renaissance humanism emerged. Later in the Enlightenment, humanism was reinforced due to science and technology and things that were happening around the Industrial Revolution. By the early 1900s, humanist organizations had emerged throughout the Western world and later the entire earth. Today, most mean to use the term to describe someone who is either agnostic or atheist, and let's be honest, that can be both good and bad depending on the person who's saying it. I would say today that regardless of theism itself, that if you advocate for freedom, health, and happiness, personal choice and human autonomy, as well as social progress, while valuing the dignity and worth of every human being, then you are in fact a humanist. Humanists tend to fight for all human rights, not just some, for free speech and other progressive ideals, but most importantly, for us today, for democracy. Now, to me, that sounds an awful lot like another group, the UUA, which is us. Unitarian and Universalist thought heavily were influenced by each other in the first half of the last century, and they influenced humanism as well. So, humanism would then seem to fit beautifully in the mosaic of pluralism that is the Unitarian Universalist Church today. It is so amazing to me, specifically here at UUCBV, that such a place exists in Brazos Valley, that theism and personal beliefs can be set aside as individual beliefs in exchange for larger community building and placing the actual real human being in front of you at the center of the work that we do here. For every one of us to have equal dignity and worth in the eyes of all of us together, then we must fight for a world in which it is understood that no one belief system is better or more important than another. It is just that it is different to a point. Here, we are able to set that aside, like I said, as the individual belief, and we work together on the collective as a larger community. It shows up every day for me, then, that our faith is a faith of action, love in action, patience in action, peace in action. And those actions add up to a way of life, one that requires reason and thoughtfulness, regardless of any one God in the sky. Ultimately, for me, I have come to understand that it doesn't matter how or even if one communicates with God, for we are all human beings right here, right now. And together, that reality, born through understanding the world and science, for me, is the most important thing. Recently, as many of you know, I went to Discovery Weekend in Austin at Austin Pres for seminary. My big concern, even with Reverend Kaya reassuring me multiple times, was still that my actual personal beliefs and that my own faith and how I understand the world would get in the way of study and education at a Christian seminary. I have never been more okay with being wrong in my life. That weekend, it really made me feel at home in my faith, specifically the word faith, not in the Christian sense, but in the sense we use it here as a UU. One of the many reverends there, who was a Southern Baptist, said to me at one point that the thing that he respects the most of the Unitarian Universalist Church today is that we are always ready and willing to be the hands and feet of ministry in the real world, no matter what. I love that, especially the no matter what part, because it is true of so much of what I've seen the last few years since joining this congregation. Again, I chastise no one's personal belief system or personal morality, but UUs I have met here have been so quick to love and accept Dia and I, so quick to jump into action. I think of last Sunday, where so many of us had stayed behind and were helping to clean up, but then also, hilarious to me, it then took nearly 10 adults and several children to figure out how to get a donut onto Craig and Sarah's van. We found out that we didn't have the right tools, then we didn't have the right donut because the donut on the car that they bought that was used was really, really not a good donut, so we had to borrow Meredith's. It became an adventure, but it showed to be how we are here. And then immediately after that adventure, with a simple, hey, can you come and help us? B and Chris jumped up to help us right then to go get a chair that had been donated to us from the swap meet. I think of how much stuff at the swap meet last weekend was actually in pretty darn good condition and could have easily made any one of us money at a resale shop. But instead, our people, we thought, just bring it to the swap meet. Somebody needs it. Because of that, though Dee and I have struggled a lot this year financially, we both got, to us, new shoes, new shirts, but most importantly, a weight set that I'm really excited to use, and a reclining chair that combined is probably worth a lot of money. But for us, completely free. I think then that we are showing how to think about new ways around consumerism and what I believe is the capitalist rot at the core of our society today. Those actions of love we all took to help each other out last week are exactly what we are about here. The House of Love feast that we had was incredible. If you were here, there was so much food. Bringing together ourselves as a community, we invited the larger community in to be fed. There was so much food, and specifically, thank you to whoever made the bourbon pecan pie because it was delicious, and I had a second slice. Here, I like to think that we put human beings first, but without neglecting the planet and the environment along the way. Reason and science within that tells us that we only have this one planet, that we are connected not just to ourselves as human beings, but to all of nature itself, the whole entire world, an interconnected web, as we say in UU jargon. This generally within humanism has allowed for there to be no specific one definition over the years. So even within humanism, you can say there is yet further pluralism. I want to focus on the variety of humanism and some of the things that various humanists have said and agree upon. The first is Sidney Hook, who writing in 1974 said that humanists are opposed to the imposition of any one dominant culture in a civilization, do not usually belong to a church or established religion, except for the UU church, do not support dictatorships, and do not justify the use of violence for social reforms. Hook also said that humanists support the elimination of hunger and homelessness and support improvements to healthcare, housing, and education. Humanist philosopher H.J. Blackham argued that humanism is a concept focusing on improving humanity's social conditions by increasing the autonomy and dignity of all human beings. Autonomy, he thought, was the key to human advancement and ultimately to human happiness. The dignity of the human person was thus fulfilled by allowing the space for one's own personal autonomy to be borne out. Of course, as long as that autonomy does not harm others. In 2015, a 21st century humanist, Andrew Copson, who's the head of the Humanist Society in the United Kingdom, defined humanism as follows. Humanism is naturalistic in its understanding of the universe. Science and free inquiry will help us comprehend more about the universe, thus saying that science is our friend as it helps us discover more about ourselves and about our world. This scientific approach does not reduce human beings to anything less than human beings. It does not bring us down to a place of original sin. It does not bring us down to a place of a discarded nature. It allows us to thus be as we are, fully autonomous human beings. Humanists place the importance in the pursuit of self-defined, meaningful, happy lives. One must create life for themselves, and as I talked about once before with my own belief in existentialism, that human beings are born blank, and then conditioned by the world as it is around us, and must react and create according to those circumstances the best that we can, and strive for that to be true of the whole species. Regardless of what certain people and religious folks might tell you, humanism is in and of itself moral, as morality is a way for human beings to improve their lives. Humanists argue that one does not need God in order to have morality. Humanism itself is moral. One can believe that all humans and creatures have dignity and worth without having to be told so by some outside force or entity. Humans have morality innate to their human beingness. Altruism might be a more modern term that you've seen come up a lot over recent years. People asking the question, are humans naturally altruistic? For me personally, I always love to think of Mr. Rogers when I ask myself that question. When something tragic happens, he always said, look for the good. And that is some of the best advice I think anyone can be given. This year, for example, has been a real struggle for me in so many ways, financially, but in a lot of other crucial ways as well. But what has gotten me through this year is really the good, the hope in the good, holding on to hope, the idea of my future, knowing that it will be better than my past, because I must leap into my own personal faith and understanding of the universe. For me, that understanding always comes back to ministry and education. So that is why I've applied to Austin Presbyterian Seminary, and I'm so hopeful and ready to get in so that I can start the next chapter of my life. Oh, thank you. So, thank you. Finally, Copson says that humanists must engage in practical action in order to improve personal and social conditions. Humanism says that in order to fulfill the promise of human morality and thusly human happiness, one must engage in the improvement of their community, their state, their country, the world at large. I personally believe that we all have a role to play. We all have skin in the game, as they say, but that for each of us, that role is very different. As long as we are, in total, a species working towards the same common goal. Now, right now, that's not happening, but that is the goal towards which many humanists have strived. Now, according to the International Humanist Union, humanism is specifically a democratic and ethical life stance, and it affirms that human beings have the right and the responsibility to give meaning and shape to their own lives. It stands for the building and creating of a humane society through an ethic based on human and natural values in the spirit of reason, science, and free inquiry through human ability. It is not generally theistic, and it does not always accept supernatural views. Now, I would further add that personal belief for me is perfectly acceptable, as I consider myself a theistic humanist, but in order for the species to unify and move forward together, I think the main thing we can all agree on is that we have to set aside difference and embrace love in action. Now, it was said recently in Philosophy Club here that the only way humanity will ever get to that point is when the scales are tipped in the favor of love, when the capacity for humans to love and set aside different things becomes so overwhelming that we actually create action enough to change things. We must always be striving to tip the scales in our favor. It will always seem to be a roller coaster ride, as history has done nothing but show us. But as long as one is striving, then one is still living and fighting for the betterment of all humanity. Now, the most recent development in humanism is digital humanism, and that is an emerging philosophical and ethical framework that seeks to preserve and promote human values, dignity, and well-being, specifically in the context of rapid technological advancements, particularly in the digital realm, social media, and artificial intelligence. Now, for me, I think a lot about AI. I have a legitimate fear of AI that is not necessarily ethical, but is borne out by what I've read from economists recently. I don't know if anyone else has done that. But AI, they're saying, might just be a big old bubble ready to burst. That is the economics of it, and that impacts so many people because of the factories that are built, the communities those factories then hurt, the water those factories then siphon off from communities, and that's just the beginning of so many consequences. It doesn't even begin to cover any economic devastation that would come if artificial intelligence is indeed a big bubble about to pop. Ethically speaking, besides the environmental impact of AI, which for me alone is enough right now, AI legitimately has been shown to harm people when it comes to things like the chatbots. There have unfortunately been news stories, very sad stories, where people have become somewhat attached in very unhealthy ways to their chatbots, and that is something that I think sort of ethically people need to be speaking out against and at least acknowledging and talking about that these things are happening on the internet. I tell people that AI might be something that is becoming so prominent that you're going to have to use it even if you don't intend to, as there's not really, of course, ethical consumption under capitalism. So that being said, what are the most ethical ways that people can use AI? That becomes the most important question. I don't have the answers to that one myself, as I'm still thinking about them, but I stress that we must put the dignity and the worth of the human being above all else in these discussions, that we must lead with our humanity first. So I wish to finish with this. For me, I believe that humanism, as I have presented it, is compatible with both Unitarianism, universalism, and our specific tenet of pluralism. That humanism is a form of universalism as I see it, that all humans are of equal worth and value, and regardless of if there is a God or not, all humans should be able to agree on that, the worth and dignity of the human person. Whether that is in the form of believing or not believing in God, we should all be able to fight for a better community and a better life for all of Earth's inhabitants. So for me, humanism is a universalism. Thank you. May it be so. All righty. We're going to have the offering, and I'm going to invite Ken and Andrew back up. They're going to sing Blue Boat Home, the free bird of UUism for us, and the words should be on the screen for anybody who would like to join along and sing with them.
Now let an offering be taken to sustain and strengthen this place, which is sacred to so many of us. A community of memory and of hope, for ye are now the keepers of the dream. This church shares the proceeds of the offering plate donation every week to help support important nonprofit organizations with which we work. The 4 groups we voted to support with this year's donations are Tiny Hope Village, Brazos Interfaith Immigration Network, the Pride Center, and Unlimited Potential. We vote on this every May at our congregational meeting. Please be as generous as you can.
I feel no motion standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean. Still my drive and heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now. my sail and moon my rudder as I ply the starry sea, leaning over the edge in wonder, casting questions into the deep, drifting here with my ship's companions, all we kindred pilgrim souls, making our way by the light of the heavens in our beautiful blue boat home. I give thanks for the waves upholding me, hail the great winds urging me on, breathe the infinite sky before me, sing the sky my sailor song. I was born upon the fathoms, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue home.
We give thanks for these gifts we have given, for those we receive, and we give great thanks for each other. May your generosity return to you at least tenfold. We do have a few announcements, not as many as on Sundays, so. It's that time of year. Our church will send 100 holiday greetings to incarcerated UUs. Please consider writing 1 or 2 holiday messages today, on December 7th, and on December 14th. So we have 3 Sundays to work on this. Thank you for your graciousness. The next art show at our beautiful gallery is titled Interwoven, Building Community One Stitch at a Time. UUCBV fiber artists will have a formal opening Friday, December 5th, 6 to 8 p.m., accompanied by wine and some wonderful edibles. It will feature a collection from our fiber artists. That bourbon pecan pie may reappear. Many of these items are for sale, with a portion of the proceeds going to UUCBV. Our church family overnight campout, can you believe this? Wow. Friday night, December 5th. Bring your tents and bedding. If you have any questions, see Allison for more information. And finally, December 7th is our wassail pajama-wearing Christmas karaoke service. We take this very seriously. Sign up to sing and wear your pajamas with feet or fancy slippers. We will be decorating our UUCBV tree, and guess who? Santa may show up. He gets around. Now please join me in extinguishing the chalice. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we gather together again.
Now all please join me in our benediction. Remember the way of the wind, and breathe and blow. Remember the way of the fire, sparkle and glitter and glow. Remember the way of the water and air and flow. Remember the way of the earth and grow. Go in peace. Thank you.